Have you heard back from Zach and Tori?
I hear they had other plans for this weekend, so.
Well, yeah.
You know.
They plan to make other plans.
Well, maybe, but.
I think they made sure they had a good alibi.
I don't know. I just know they're not going to be here.
Well, whatever it is, I think they should have been here for this, to support you, to support their organization. I mean, it's funny that it's disappointing to me to see them not support your thing.
I can't get stuck on that.
I know. I'm disappointed.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, April 30th, 2024. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Well, it was bound to happen. After 25 seasons on TLC and on reality television, the Roloff family of Amy and Matt Roloff and their children and their show, Little People, Big World, is officially over. At least that is what the news is from Matt. And he updated everyone over on his Facebook with an extremely lengthy post about everything that went down with this final season. Now, season 25 was relatively lackluster, with Zach and Tori not really wanting to participate in a lot of activities, and Amy seeming a little bit disengaged in involving herself in any of the drama that was being instigated on the show for ratings. Interestingly, in his update, Matt gave insight into what it takes to film a show of this magnitude and how family drama and conflict drives ratings and the show in order to make it successful. And that family conflict made the ratings better. And at times, that conflict was not the best for the family, nor was the drama surrounding it. And no one created more drama on the show and provoked more drama intentionally than Matt. Matt's even admitted that he would do this and try to get people riled up, try to get reactions, try to create more drama because it would help improve the show. Nobody wants to watch a show that's boring, and a lot of shows are based upon relationship conflict that can resolve, and you can have a villain and you can have a hero or heroine. It's the dynamic of creating and putting together a drama. Matt noted for the very first time that he was no longer under an NDA. So he said, "Now that I'm officially not under a contract NDA, I can speak much more freely than I've been able to for the past 20 years or so. In fact, the first interesting tidbit to share is the Roloff family, signed our first contract with CBS, not Discovery, back in 2003. It then transferred to Discovery around 2004-05 when we did the pilot. It took a year to get the green light and finally air that is now considered the beginning of Little People, Big World as you know it today. So yes, 20 years of being under contracts for TV. Here are my 5 most asked questions. Was Tuesday's episode the season or series finale? It's true that several family members have announced publicly that they're no longer interested in filming. I think Amy, myself, and producers have known this for quite some time. We completed our contract obligations and wrapped up filming last September 2023. Season 25 was a very fun and fulfilling filming cycle, and Karen and I particularly enjoyed working together with Chris and Amy in so many productive ways. Of course, we missed filming more with the other family members and were obviously disappointed not to do more things altogether. Here is my opinion on why TLC didn't announce, at least not yet, this was the series finale. Clip look back special shows in the works, maybe. 2010, 14 years ago, the Roloff family had a family meeting, and afterward we contacted the TLC attorney and announced that we were done. We had come off a 40-episode year in 2009, and the filming process was a grind back then and disruptive to the kids' schooling and discipline. We thought we had completed our mission of educating the world on what it's like to be a little person in an average-sized world. Enough TV filming already. We wanted to go back to running the farm and our normal lives, so we made it clear to TLC that we were finished. We had completed the last of our 5-year contract option, and it was time to move on. A few days later, on August 26, 2010, TLC PR department put out a press release and said that TLC Little People, Big World had been canceled and season 6 would be the last. Funny thing is, the show never was canceled. A few weeks later, the TLC attorneys contacted us and asked if we would consider doing a few specials. We met again as a family. The team was offering some more interesting ideas, mostly travel related, that intrigued the family and offered Amy a chance to climb Mount St. Helens, among other ideas. In fact, it was at this time I worked like crazy to get Tori to be able to join us on our trip to Costa Rica. She and Zach were newly dating, and this trip was a catalyst to help solidify their relationship. They, the network, promised that we would not have to grind out as many as 40 plus episodes, but would just sign us up to a one single year service term, no options to extend, produce 6 to 8 shows in a 12-month term, easy breezy. So by fall winter 2010 into 2011, we were somewhat reluctantly back to filming. By this point, the core Roloff family had completed 6 seasons and several hundred episodes, a nice run by any television standard, and we were most pleased that tens of millions of viewers on every continent had somewhat realistic view of life as a little person living in a farm in Oregon. After that, they pitched us to do the wedding farm season, requiring theoretically much less disruption to our kids' lives and more focus on brides and grooms we were hosting. That made sense for many reasons, so we went forward with that with the wedding farm season circa 2012. This is why I think there's some hesitation to announce from TLC that the show is over. Even though the family as a whole is enjoying being away from it all after 19 to 20 years, Karen and many other family members have publicly stated that they are done filming. Remember, our show is a relationship-based program. As more and more family members drift away from the show, it becomes more difficult to produce the same content. As much as many of you hate, and we see the comments about the rifts and strifes between the family members, the better the ratings do. They think they do, but they don't. Nobody wants to watch everything is always happy-go-lucky and perfect. Viewers want relationship drama and then resolutions. The less relationship interactions are filmed together on camera, the harder it is to produce the show. Chris and Karen coming on board helped replace some family members. It's my opinion that you just never know what might happen in the future. I know I can't predict the future. It's my guess that the network can't either. I do think that TLC did a nice job on the last Tuesday season finale episode, hedging their bets and putting a nice button on the show and where the family members that still participate stand. So if LPBW never comes back in whatever various other farms, I think consensus is that they wrapped up the Roloff Crazy Train saga pretty good. That's why many of you felt it was a series finale. So Matt basically is saying that at the end of the day, they don't know for sure, but it sounds like this will be the end, although there could be something in the future. Nothing's off the table. A lot of series get reformatted years later as people sort of settle down and they're not burnt out on filming. New family members could come into the mix, but for now, literally everyone is kind of over it. Zach and Tori have already announced very publicly that they don't want to be on the show. They don't want to raise their kids on reality television. Jeremy and Audrey left years ago. Jacob doesn't want to film. Molly wants to live a private life. They don't have any kids at this point that are engaged in wanting to film. And so it's very difficult to produce a family show when you have no kids and interested in being involved. And frankly, there's just not enough relationship drama anymore between Matt and Amy at this point because they've both moved on. And then bringing their kids on or just having them go on the show to just talk crap about their kids isn't a good look for parents. So at the end of the day, there's just not enough cast members. He says that he's fine with it and he's ready to say goodbye. He says he's not authorized to speak on any other people or individuals or companies. Okay, so what happened with the farm and the family status? As you all know, both Jeremy and Zach expressed interest at virtually same time. Several years ago in the fall of 2021, in purchasing the big house that sits on the North Farm. As twins, they've always been super competitive, but this was one situation that I couldn't let one win over the other. As a father, it was extraordinarily complex, and I can't say I handled it without some mistakes and missteps. The state of Oregon has incredibly strict rules about dividing land up and splitting the baby in half, property based on zoning laws. There is only one house on a single tax lot. There are 2 interested parties and 1 house. Think about that. Yes, money, retirement concerns, loan terms, and maintenance responsibility all played a role, but fairness to all 4 of my kids and all grandkids played and weighted the heaviest. Keep in mind, I shrunk the size of the North Farm with the big house for rent and sale that grew larger the land that stays in the trust. It's now 16 acres with the older big house versus 90 plus acres with my new house and the DW and dozens of barns and sheds. That's now what we all consider the farm. I feel so blessed and proud and love each and every one of my children. Jer and Zach each figured out in their own timing that the idea of breaking away from me and the farm, as you all know, it over many past years, and individually to establish their own homesteads, build their own dreams, bridges, barns, shops, projects. My heart is full to see that process in progress. It hasn't been easy, especially all while being filmed and sometimes even very painful, but in the end, it's been productive, and although in hindsight I would have changed several of my processes, I believe the results were better, and I love watching all the kids find independence and passions on their own. Jeremy, Zach, and Molly manage their own individual homes, projects, and farms. Our youngest, who broke away from the crazy train early to go see the world, now in a poetic turn of events has returned with his family to an open canvas of opportunity. He's taking great advantage of many possibilities, the 90-plus acre farm. He's living and working full-time with his wife and son, Mateo, named in honor of the farm. And I understand if you've been watching Little People Big World since the beginning, you're not as connected to the stories and the lives of our 3 average height children, but please know they exist and matter to all of us. All 4 of our kids do in the grand scheme of the farm. And it continues to be a good destination and tourist for the farming stuff. So Jacob is living back on the farm, but he does not own it, just to be clear. He is working for it. So regardless of what you see on the show and what we know about it, we do know that both of the sons were interested in the farm. I don't know if they came at the same time. I think Jeremy came about a year before Zach, but at the end of the day, he made a choice not to sell it to the kids. He made a choice to subdivide the farm to one house on one side and 90 acres with another home on another side. And that's how he's rolling with it. And usually it's the county that makes the guidelines as far as how it works for taxing and for zoning. And cities have zoning as well, and then state guidelines as well. So he's under a lot of technicalities there. I don't know what the truth is, but at the end of the day, that's what he feels. Zach feels completely different. He feels like his dad was putting money over the kids, and he was being unreasonable, and he was being hard-headed. And regardless, Zach and Tori got a place that they love. Jeremy and Audrey found a place that they love. In the end, it kind of just works out. And ultimately, no matter what a child wants, no child is technically entitled to what their parents own, regardless. I know that I'm, as a child, not entitled to what my parents have. I mean, you're not entitled, even if you think you are. Maybe when they die, but not while they're still alive. So Matt can do what Matt wants to do with the farm, whether you like that or not, whether Zach likes that or not, whether Jeremy likes that or not, whether we like his decisions of doing this or not, really is irrelevant. Did he kind of screw up his relationships as a result? It appears so. He says, do I see the grandkids? Let me start by saying, yes, it's true. I don't get to see Zach and his adorable kids nearly as often as any of us would like, and we are always welcome to go see them in Battleground, but we don't see them around the farm very often. I'm very proud of them in the way that they raised their family, and Zach battling through illnesses and building out his own farm is what makes a father so proud to see. I see Jeremy and Audrey and their 3, soon to be 4 kids often, as they live just a mile or 2 from the farm. And as many of you that follow them know, they are renovating his house in a similar way that we gutted and remodeled the big house years ago for the Little People Big World show. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. It's been super fun to see his kids pull up to the front door in their little battery-powered Jeeps, asking for jukebox treats from Grandpa's pantry. Molly loves her private life in Spokane, and we still see her often. Sometimes Karen and I fly up there to go visit her, or they travel to go see Joel. And then he sees Jacob quite a bit because Jacob apparently has moved back on the farm, and he spends a couple paragraphs basically praising Jacob's initiatives and learning and interest in cultivation and growth on the farm. He apparently has finished his new home, and then he and Karen are planning to split their time. And he said overall his health is pretty good. So as far as the show goes, it's over. And he's saying he doesn't know if it's over, but really it's over. If they haven't filmed in a year, they finished out their contract. They likely were at the end of a contract. And if they didn't re-sign, it's very likely that they just didn't have enough cast members to re-sign, and the writing was on the wall. Everyone was ready to move on. Production was ready to move on. The families were ready to move on. It's time to move on. You cannot ride a show like this forever. And Matt has become a very wealthy individual as a result of it. He has homes in Arizona and in Oregon. He's got a farm. The farm basically was created and paid for through royalties of the show, which could be a reason why some of the kids feel entitled. I know that Zach took a salary as an adult, and that salary is what enabled him to eventually buy, over $1 million home across state lines in Washington. So at the end of the day, the show is over. At the end of the day, family drama and conflict did drive the show towards the end. The family conflict became good TV ratings. It's still sad to me that the show continued on after Jacob announced very publicly that he had been molested by a show producer. It's kind of sad to me that molestation and abuse was not really addressed by Matt in his final statement, though he has publicly already addressed it. Jacob has moved on from that. That producer has never been held responsible, by the way, although he did have a conviction in California for something revolving like indecent liberties on a child. But at the end of the day, they kept filming after that happened. It's hard to know if they were in the middle of a contract and they had to just keep filming and they couldn't walk away, and this was the first time they could walk away. It depends on how long the contracts go. Sometimes they're season to season. Sometimes they do 3-4 seasons at a time. It's up to the network. It's hard to believe that they would have done multi-year contracts after 20 seasons at this point because they knew the show was near the end. So that's what we have for today. Matt says the show is over. Whatever fans think, they're going to be divided. Some are all like, Zach is so entitled. Some are all, Matt's lying. Some are all, I'm so glad Amy finally has a say. I mean, Amy has recently said that she hates watching the show and she didn't super enjoy it towards the end. So it sounds like it's just going to be best for all. And I wish them all a good, healthy life in the future. And hopefully Zach and Tori can find happiness and the rift in the family can either, get better or it stays what it is. All right, y'all. So tell me what your thoughts are. You sad to see Little People Big World over? And were you expecting this? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button on the way out and click on the bell so you never miss a video and hit the thumbs up. Bye, guys.